Yeah, just in the middle of the woods. Cool. Yeah, what's this? Hey? Yep. Okay. Oh yeah, broken on top. Ah!
Huh? Now I wait to see what the hell we're doing. Slide right up. It's not the one we called up, is it?
Man, that'd take a while.
And this is how you come down.
Alright, here we go again. Yes, that's a grizzly bear behind me. And if you don't understand hunting a grizzly bear or anything else, if you lash out about it and try to control and stop you from doing anything in the real world, but you don't partake in the real world and you do not know what's going on in the real world, well, I have nothing for you. I'm sorry. So there you go. If anybody's going to blow a gasket, falls on deaf ears right here. I continually have gone out 100% for support of conservation myself, kept track of numbers of animals myself, put around $10,000 of my own money into conservation a year average. And all the people who lash out and get angry, I've never seen you out there once, and I've never seen your footprints out there in the snow once either. So that means you don't count. Alright? There you go. End of story. End of discussion on the hunting and what I have here around me. Now, quick note on Edgar. A lot of people have emailed me about Edgar. When are you going to release the Edgar information? So, this is, as you guys know, whatever I receive, I share with you guys right off the bat. If people ask me not to share with you, I don't share with you. I guess I've made a mistake in the past, letting you know that I have obtained items from people and they've said, please don't go public with this, because they're scared for their careers, their families, their lives, whatever. Out of respect, I don't do it. And if your word is worth shit, then you are shit. Right? I don't know. There's been a fair amount of people, not too many, that blow a gasket and say, share anyway. So if you are one of those people, you are nothing. Your word is nothing. It's unfortunate to see that you are in that position of life. If your word is nothing, you're nothing. And if you want to intentionally trash somebody and go against what they need for themselves when it comes to sharing what they have to share, and you want to sewer them anyway, instantly, without even thinking about it, I'm sorry, I'm not going to join you. So there you go, okay, you guys? When somebody asks me to not share, keep something under cover, I'm going to do it. And you should too. Otherwise, you're nothing, right? But anyways, I have a substantial amount of emails and information from Edgar. Yes, I do. And I've been waiting for what has been promised to me from him, a handful of other items. Now, the past while, I'll get an email from him, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, man, lay it on. He disappears. And then the length of period of time between contact with him again is going to get longer and longer and longer. Now, I've shared everything that I know with you up to a point. I do have a pile of stuff. I just haven't compiled it yet because, like I said, Edgar, I got to get this in order here. Otherwise, when it gets delivered to all of you, it's going to sound like, it's just going to be very confusing, right? It's going to be like tearing out a page of a book, 17 chapters in, delivering it to you guys, and then going back to chapter 2 and ripping out a couple pages and sharing that with you next. See what I mean? And you guys know exactly what I do basically all day, every day. And I don't have time yet to go, I don't know how long that's going to take me. It's going to take me a while to do that. And as you guys know what I do. I just got home. I've been away for 3 days. Today I'm setting this camera up. I had to go let all the animals out, feed them. Got to set up the camera. I'm going to sit here for an hour. Then I'm going to edit, and then I have to get the ceiling on. She would decide to go with the sheet metal ceiling, which I've done before in custom houses, and mostly it looks pretty good. And I have to get that done because now the electrician's going to come today. It's endless, and I still have a few other things to do. This boat, it's just endless, right? I can't cut loose, and once I start something, I have to keep going and finish it. I just don't have time to compile that yet. Anyway, getting back to Edgar himself. Some may think it's a hoax, some may not. I've never met Edgar in the flesh. He's given me names, dates, family members, where they live, wife's full history, his full history, other names of scientists that are supposed to keep under wraps, items that things that they have been doing in other countries, keep it under wraps. I've got all that information. I've got it all. And now, why is he disappearing? Now, as you know, he was battling with cancer. So for me, it's kind of awkward because I just don't have it in me to hound someone when I think they may be possibly in their last days of life. I don't know. And to try to distract them and take them away from the time they may have left with their families. Say, hey, what about me? This guy over here you've never met and don't know. Gimme. I know you're dying and I know you're spending your last time with your family. What about me here? I just don't have it in me to do it. So I send out a polite email. Hey man, where are you? Are you alive? What's going on? I haven't heard from you in a while. What's up? And then boom, I'll get an email reply maybe a week after that. So it's been a while. Do I know what's happened? I have a clue. I know one of the people he was communicating with was definitely getting cold feet, nervous about sharing a whole pile of items, but they've already been shared. So I guess I would imagine the heat has been cranking up on Edgar's end, because in the beginning, his words were as well as my stance was, F him, I don't give a shit. Here's my name. This is what I know, and it's time that people knew. And he was pretty bold in coming forward, where his contacts, his friends, weren't that bold and didn't want their names and were very, very nervous about sharing too much, only because of their careers. And he did take note that scientists are basically have an expiry date when it comes to governments around the world. They have a hit on them. They don't even, it seems, they have a list of names they've given me of friends of theirs who have been eliminated because of what they've learned, what they know, and possibly what their stance might be with what they're going to do with that knowledge, and the government's killed them. So, if you love life and you are afraid of death and you have a big family, that is going to definitely have an impact on what your decisions are, right? Whereas me, I don't give a flying shit. Kill me tomorrow. I'm not scared. I'm not scared of death. I've nearly been there a handful of times, and this isn't the end of the ride when we pass and we're all dead. We're all dead. We're all dying. There's no denying it. Teach their own. So, is Edgar still with us today physically? I don't know. Has Edgar been silenced? I don't know. What are the chances of him being silenced? Probably right up there. Because he was so bold and let it be known. I should have thought about that in the very beginning, but in the beginning my attitude was the same. Did they silence him? Maybe. Maybe not. Is it a hoax? Maybe. Maybe it was one hell of an elaborate hoax. I don't know, but I know one thing, my gut instincts, they steer me 100%, and I never had a bad feeling in my guts, ever. So, there you go. There's the update on Edgar. Is he still with us? Don't know. Will he be in contact again? I hope so. Maybe not. If it was a fraud, turns out to be a great big elaborate hoax, well, unfortunately I have all the names and all the phone numbers and all the emails. So if I wanted to be a little bit of a tit for tat, I could just spill every single thing that I have. And I don't think they'd like that. And maybe some of his co-partners are listening right now, and maybe they want to take that in a note. Maybe I might wake up grumpy one day, feel I was misled, and share every single thing with you guys. Uh-oh. Wouldn't that suck if it's all fact, right? So, will somebody get back to me in the Edgar department? Maybe. Maybe they won't. Well, but anyways, in the meantime, you guys, my ride has been steadily going up. Non-stop. My ride, my puzzle has been evolving and going. Non-stop. And from what I have learned from various other people who I trust, know who they are, know what they've done, know how they've obtained, and know how they've learned. How do I say this? My knowledge base has climbed up to this point, and down here is all the items and the knowledge that Edgar was sharing with me. Just picking up what I'm putting down, and that's possibly why I'm not putting so much energy into the Edgar department right now, because I feel very confident that my knowledge base has risen above where that took me. Okay? So that's probably why I'm not overly motivated to take 2 or 3 days out of my time to absolutely dedicate towards the Edgar chapter in our ride. But I will. It's just like getting all the emails. I will read every one of them. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. I'm not going to stop. And obviously that's what I'm doing. So when I say I will do something, I will do it. I just can't put a time and a date on it. And furthermore, my knowledge base, contacts have grown, and in a way, for me, in my mind, I'm much further ahead than where I was taken through the information shared through Edgar and the other scientists. And will that information be coming your way? Yes, it will. Will it be through me? Probably not. But it will be coming your way. So there. I'm just fortunately, or maybe unfortunately, I will be taken up there before the majority of you will be. Is what it is. That's just the way shit happens, right? I hope that little battle made some sense, you guys, but there you go. Trying to answer some questions and keep you up to speed and help you understand what's up. And you gotta admit, with a ride like this and a topic like this and the impact it may possibly have on the population of the world, right? You can't sit there and stomp your feet, pound your fists, and snivel and have snot going down on your bib like a little kid. You have to be patient, persistent, and never give up, and have confidence and go with your gut instincts. That's what you have to do. That's what you have to master, and it'll help you along through this ride. And you have to understand the magnitude and the impact of all of this knowledge. It's not just a little sidekick thing on Bigfootery and Squatching. This is a hell of a lot more intense and potential life-changing for everyone, believe it or not. So be patient. Be patient, never give up, keep going forward, and collect everything you can for your own puzzle. Don't just sit there like an infant at your high chair waiting for your meal to be put in front of you and then have your ass wiped for you, okay? That's not what this place is about, although I do realize there's a fair amount of people out there that do that. They're just going to sit there eating their Cheetos, drinking their frickin' Mountain Dew, and demanding as they sit there. So there. There's my spiel. Now, let's hear some voices, which are very important and will never not be not listened to, no matter what happens, even when the information known now by others is shared with you. I will still be sharing the voices. They need to be heard regardless of how far along our own personal ride gets, our knowledge base gets, what's exposed and shown and shared with us. I'm still going to make sure every single person gets heard. Period. So there. Alright. End of rant. Who's this from? Hey Steve, hopefully you're getting this without having your phone. Anyway, went to the Yellowcombe Valley today. Okay. Oh, this is a friend of mine. Met up with a guy who lives there. We start talking and he's very awake. He told me about a spot near his place that the natives won't let anyone hunt because of the forest people. Lots of sightings. Also told me about a guy that lives around blank and found a huge track and a toenail was left in it. He keeps it in a jar, but of course he keeps it pretty quiet for the same old reason. Okay, so that was a friend of ours, and we talked about this in a video that I still have to go through because we drank a lot of beers that night around the fire and we just let the camera go. So I'm gonna have to review that video before I send it to you guys. And yeah, he's got a friend who has a massive toenail that was found in a massive footprint. Keeps it in a box and he's fairly guarded with it, and that's fine. And I'm not being rude at all, I'm just stating the fact. It doesn't even matter anymore. Trust me. There's like one person alone has over 700 DNA samples, okay? So if you are somebody out there who has a tuft of hair, or a tooth, or a toenail, or whatever, and you think it's a big national guarded secret, it doesn't really matter anymore. So there. I'll be sharing that. I think that topic came up in our video, and you'll know about it soon. Here's another email titled "Throwing Their Voices." This email from March 28th, when the kid that went fishing at the reservoir without his old man, he had one roar what sounded like was in his face. This happened to my nephew when he was 11. Him and his buddies were riding around on their bikes on our res. It was right after sunset when he had to stop to fix his bike chain. His buddies kept on going. He said where he stopped was under one of the very few street lights in our village, and he noticed when he stopped and got off his bike and his friends got about a block away, he got that creepy feeling like he really needed to leave. And when he got his chain on and bike flipped back over, he was doing the run a few steps and hop on and ride like hell that kids do when they're scared. Something screamed in his face. So loud that he couldn't do anything but cry while being stopped in mid-stride. He said it was so loud that he thought he ran into it, and thought when he opened his eyes it was going to be right in front of him. After the scream, he doesn't remember anything but opening his eyes, and all of his friends were sitting on their bikes in front of him, wondering why he was crying with his hands over his face. I don't know if it's just ingrained in our way of life or what, but his friends had an idea what had just happened, and not one of them questioned it. They just hauled ass home. Now my thoughts on throwing the voices. I've only heard it once, and it was strange. It wasn't a roar or anything like that. It was a whoop sound when we were following one. I think I sent an email about that story. I honestly don't think that they are really throwing their voice, but they are able to travel in real time from one place to another for that split second. I agree. The reason I think this is listening to all the stories on my res about people hearing them way far away, then seeing them really close very soon after. My mom told me a story of when she was a teenager and was walking home from her friend's house when she noticed one was following her in the woods right off the road. Back then it was all dirt roads in our village and only one street light. She said she could hear it getting closer to her, then heard it make its way on the gravel behind her. She said she was so scared, but she knew not to run because my gram and her gram always told them no matter what they are doing to never run, because that is when they will take you. So she kept walking, the same pace, trying hard as she could not run, just trying to make it to the one street light. While she was holding that pace, she prayed, and while she was waiting to get to the light, she said she could feel it breathing on the back of her head and neck, and almost feel it sniffing her head. That is effing creepy. Mom, no smell though. She said when she hit the street light, she turned around as fast as she could and it wasn't there. When she got home, my grandma was telling her that the closer they sound, the farther away they are. And when they sound really far away is when you have to be worried because they are more often than not right near you. Sorry, this is supposed to be just a quick email on my thoughts about the throwing voices stuff. I know that is one of the first things I remember being told was the sound close, they are far, and vice versa. When they sound, was what you meant. When they sound close, they are far, and vice versa. Thanks again, Steve. You have the time to read this one. On the side note, when I was telling about my cousin seeing the green Sasquatch with 3 toes, I meant a green like OD green or a earth green. Not like a green alien or something. Just thought I'd kind of clarify that. But thanks again, Steve, for the chance to share my tiny bit of information I've gotten to so far. One of these days, we will get you the information to get a hefty chunk of puzzle figured out. I'd like to figure out if your superhero native ladies know what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure they will know. Have a good one, Adrian. Okay, man, you too. Thanks for sending that. Appreciate it. That was a recent email. Okay. Yeah, keep it coming. Keep the flow coming, man. Keep it coming and keep it steady. It's interesting, right? Take from it what you will or leave it. It could be the part where the other boys didn't hear the noise, didn't know why he was crying. It shoots me back to the fall before last elk hunting with my friend, who's a new hunter. Also has a degree. He studied psychology, degree in psychology, and remember when I was going, there's no wind, dead freaking quiet within the first hour of first seeing light. And I left him and said, you wait here, because we had to leave the quad way back in the timber, huge poplar forest. And then we slip out and slip along very quietly as I'm cow calling for bull out. And all the way through a slight meadow, comes to a bigger meadow, and then an old deactivated grassy road that you can see up for about 800 yards in a straightaway, and you want to sneak up and look down the straightaway. And then go up over a hill, look down the hill into another meadow. And then I left him there to sit on that meadow while I would hike all the way back to get the quad and then slowly ride the quad back to him. They're going to carry on. 1 quad, 2 people. And that's when I got back and he said he heard what sounded like a sledgehammer whacking a tree from where I was. I didn't hear a thing. Now, what's up with that? But how long have I been saying when I'm in the woods, just frickin' leave me alone? I know you're here. You know I'm here. I got nothing. I don't want anything to do with you. Just frickin' leave me alone. Leave me alone. And I'm not saying it in a kind tone. I never have been saying it in a kind tone. Oops. So, I wonder if I am being respected that way. Possibly. I don't know. But in that same area is where I went hunting by myself the year before. Nobody was there. And I made camp and probably 6 or 8 trees fell down during the night without any wind or anything. All through the night. And every time I woke or opened my eyes or went out to go pee out of the tent, a grouse would be going off. Or like fairly close. Which I've never heard a grouse drumming in the middle of the night. Ever. Myself. Anyway, back to the point I was making was, for me, I've seen firsthand that something out there can make a very substantial loud noise and only one or more or less, one out of a handful of people are going to hear it clearly and not understand why nobody else didn't hear that. That's a pattern. That's a crazy, confusing pattern, right? But it's something you got to take note of. It keeps coming up. Examples of that pattern keep getting slapped in our face, so you can't deny it, right? Man, I'm on fire babbling this morning, aren't I? Puzzle pieces, please read. Hello, Steve. My name is Darren. I'm from Southern Ontario and spent my entire life living along the Niagara Escarpment. Excuse me. I've had many experiences in my 55 years and will email them in a later time. Excuse me. This email is directly related to my fourth experience when I saw an approximate 8-foot shimmering blur pass in front of me, leaving 15-inch barefoot footprints. This sent me into a whirl of trying to figure out what it was and how I could do it. About 6 years ago, I stumbled across a video where a researcher had discovered that his sample hair, when it still had the hair follicle attached to it, would become translucent and shimmery when a small electric charge was applied to it. He did this by having the hair and follicle in an oxygenated liquid in a small petri dish. At the time, I was still blind and thought they were an ape. I didn't believe it, so I engorged it. My eyes hadn't been open yet. Last week, I came across another researcher. I know you don't really like that term. I got no problem with that term. But this one has his eyes open, accepting these are humans and can do things we can't. He also found that Sabe hair, when the follicle is attached, there's a liquid when you push on the follicle extends up the hair shaft, which he shows under a microscope. Then the hair has little holes that the liquid comes out of. Then he demonstrates with UV light that the hair becomes opaque and shimmers like the predator. That is freaking interesting. As he says, now multiply it times a couple 100,000 hairs and you would get that predator appearance that he has seen in so many others. I'll attach a picture of the hair doing this effect. Now that I have grown the cojones, Steve, to contact you, I'll forward my experiences. This started as a child growing up playing in the woods along the Niagara Escarpment, all the way up to my face-to-face through a window as an adult in Muskoka in Ontario. Stay safe, my friend. Thank you for the voice you provided. And as my grandmother always told me, keep asking questions and question everything. Choose only the answers that your gut tells you are true. Darren, P.S. for you, Steve. Okay, man. The video is no longer up, he said. But he took this photograph. Not that's going to mean much to many of us, right? It's something. It looks like a hair under a microscope, and there's some weird, definitely some odd coloration on it. Maybe I'll post it on here during the editing part. But anyway, appreciate that email. I'm not sure if he shared that or not. I think I read that before, but if I have, well, there's a whole pile of new people here. And make sure you send me more. Send me more knowledge, man. And your grandma was so correct about using your gut to take what you will, right? Always go by your gut, period. When it comes to anything, go with your gut. Get in tune with your gut instincts. Now, here's another one. Steve, thank you for reading my previous share from a couple of years ago. These are not Sabe related, but I'm very interested to see if anyone else has ever seen anything similar. Number one, not sure of the year, sometime in the early to mid-90s. During those days, I had a second job delivering the Dallas Morning News around my hometown of Palestine, Texas. I was the first to arrive at the paper drop this particular morning. It was around 1 or 1:30 a.m. I didn't have a key to the building, so I just got out of my car and proceeded to smoke a cigarette. Off in the distance, I saw 3 lights in the sky flying around, chasing each other, and doing some amazing turns and maneuvers. I figured it was just a few birds flying above the nearby rail yard because it was always extremely well lit. After watching their airborne aerobatics for a few minutes, I heard cars speeding down the road towards me. I turned to see 4 city police cars going by at high speed in the direction of the rail yard. Less than a minute later, 4 Sheriff's Department and 4 Texas Highway Patrol vehicles, all going in the same direction at high speed, but with no lights or sirens. At first I thought traffic accident, then the lights, which I originally thought were birds, slowed down. formed a delta formation and began to fly in my direction. They flew almost directly above me, low and slow. I would estimate the altitude to be about 500 feet. 3 luminous triangle-shaped craft. They were golden in color and shimmering like water. Beautiful, actually. They proceeded to fly over downtown, then disappeared into the distance. The entire flyover took around 45 seconds to a minute. Number 2. Around 2007 or 2008, I was living in Hereford in the Texas Panhandle. While on break at work, I was out behind the building smoking a cigarette. I saw movement out of the corner of my eye, so I turned and looked. About 70 feet away and about 20 feet up in the air, I saw a floating metal ball, probably 3 feet in diameter. Dark patina, brass in color with a smaller dark spot in the center. It looked like there may have been some sort of markings on it, but I'm not sure. It was moving slowly from my right to left over the parking lot in full view. No trees within about 100 yards. After moving around 30 to 40 feet, it slowly faded away like a cloaking device had been activated. Number 3, back in Palestine in late 2018, one night my wife and I went out to smoke. After a couple of minutes, I saw something floating by our front door. I went to look. What I saw was a tiny, translucent, see-through jellyfish floating about 2 feet off the ground. Sounds crazy, I know, but it looked like a tiny jellyfish. My wife also saw it. I held my hand out about 3 inches under it for scale, and it started moving away. It would have fit in the palm of my hand and just moved like a jellyfish. We eventually lost track of it in the dark. Number 4, around the same time, my wife and son told me they had been seeing some other strange critters floating outside around the house. I never saw one of these, but they described them as small squares about the size of a saltine cracker, translucent, see-through, and with a possible darker grid pattern. Some floated slowly, others were faster. They would apparently react and move away if you started to get too close. My son thinks they were some sort of a drone. I can't say since I didn't see one, but the way they describe them to me sounds more biological. And finally, number 5. One morning I was standing out in front of my workplace building smoking a cigarette and waiting for a client to arrive. The building sat on a corner facing a 4-lane road. While standing there, a rather noisy car pulled up to the stop sign at the side, so it caught my attention. I looked over at the car as it turned right onto the 4-lane road and it disappeared. I watched it turn, then fade to nothing in about 3 seconds. The sound also faded as the car faded. Steve, the stop sign the car stopped at sits in front of my house. Yes, I live across the street from where I worked. The disappearing car, floating jellyfish, and other floating critter thingies all happened within 100 feet of each other at approximately the same time. Portal activity? Could that be that the car went in and the other things may have came out? I've seen and experienced so many strange things in my 57 years on this planet, but I don't know why. These and my previous share are just the tip of a very large iceberg of weirdness. Thank you, Tim in East Texas. Texas. Oklahoma. Why? Why is it so common for so many uncommon things to be happening in that chunk of the planet? I wonder why. Obviously, possibly geographically where you're working, where you are, something's up. Something's up, right? I wonder how many people are possibly from that same area and are going like this. I knew it wasn't just me. If it is, possibly, email it in, man. If you can relate to this guy's email and you want to confirm or ask more questions, share away. All right, share it away. And this isn't the first time I've heard about those jellyfish-shaped things. Where the hell did I see that one? I've seen that before. But anyway. Thanks for sending that in, man. What a confusing ride you're on. I couldn't imagine seeing all that shit. Writing it all down and then reciting it to strangers. Right? Take some balls. You're a brave man. You're a free thinker. Keep learning and sharing if you can. Appreciate you, man. There's another one. A puzzle piece you may find interesting. I always do. My name is Eileen. I have been interested in the paranormal ever since I was young. I've studied it for over 40 years. I've experienced it for even longer. I have experienced Sabe knocks, structures, footprints, and a sighting. I've experienced ghosts, prophetic dreams, telekinesis, and UFOs, and an abduction. I never know if I experience things because I attract them, or if I attract them because I experience them. You know, weird shit attacks weird shit. Weird shit attracts weird shit. The puzzle piece that I'm anxious to drop is this. I came across someone who put a map of positive and negative magnetic zones over a map of the Earth, and it lines up with weird shit happening on the positive anomalies. They spoke about David Plius and that people go missing often, go missing on a positive anomaly. I don't know if this is something you already know, I don't know if this is something you already know about, but I was super excited to check if I was experiencing stuff lined up, and it did. I hope this helps. His name was Barry Fitzgerald, and he was part of Project Doorway. Thanks for all you do, Eileen. Okay, there you go. So there you go, sleuths. You've got the project name and the name of the man, and a possible very interesting puzzle piece that this lady has figured out on her own for herself and shared generously with all of us. There you go, sleuths. Jump on that one. Sounds interesting to me, and it makes sense to me. For sure. Alright, here we go. One more. I don't know how long I've been sitting here. It doesn't feel like too long, but I've got stuff eating at me now because I know people are going to be coming here to do things, and I got to get them done. Not sure if this is the correct email address. A lot of people say that. Hi Steve, my wife found your channel and I started listening as well. Typically after my first contact, I was listening to other channels as well as shared some of my incidents on Reddit and a couple of the forums, and was pretty much told, Pixar, it never happened. It's sad that people are like this. Anyways, I'm the person that goes by whispers in the comments and was encouraged to share my stories of the ongoing things happening here. First contact here was my wife smelling the foul odors, as did I, but just didn't pay attention to it. She came inside from a phone call and said, "It smells like a Sasquatch outside." We kind of joked about it, and the next night we were sitting at my mom's on the same property, and something hit the side of the trailer so hard, it about knocked my mom out of her chair. Whoa. Later that night I saw what looked like a person with a hoodie on just on the other side of the fence, and called the police about a possible prowler. We had them come out a few times that summer about someone that was on the abandoned property next to us and behind us. Once they found signs of squatters, but no one there at the time. Anyways, they found nothing, but said a doe was bedded down with a fawn in that spot. I saw the, quote, prowler, end quote. I thought it was weird for it not to kick up with him being right there, but dismissed it. A few nights later, I heard banging around next door. Called the police, and as I stood outside waiting, I could hear what sounded like a ball bat hitting one of the telephone poles across the highway from me. Shined my light in that direction, and then I heard it again, but was knocking on one in the opposite direction. I spun around, and then I hear it hitting the propane tank on the abandoned property. There were always like 2 to 3 hits. It was then that I had a chill go through me, and all the hairs on my body felt like they rose up. This property we're on, it sits right on a major highway. We have hill between the highway and then railroad on the other side. The ground is raised and has fields with islands of wood patches in it. This all happened in 2020. Now, last year in January, someone hit a deer in front of the house, so I asked if I could have it. This is about 5 a.m. It was still dark, and the driver of the car could not find it. I went out about an hour later after the sun came up and collected it and drug it where I could clean it. After doing so, I was working on getting the hide off and cleaning it a bit because I wanted to save it. It was almost dark by this time already. My wife had gotten home from town and she said there was a very tall person. It was like a shadow looking over the privacy fence at me. She said it was just the head, so they must have been hanging on it. This fence at that spot is about 7 feet tall. During the time, I was still trying to get that fat off the hide. I kept hearing footsteps and brush moving nearby, but when I would shine the flashlight, I didn't see anything, and the sounds would stop. It was after I came into the house was when my wife told me what she saw, and only after I said someone was messing with me out there. Now to more recent. We started babysitting our grandkids about March last year, and so we was having to be up and out the door before 5 a.m. every morning. During this time, I would just get these feelings that I was being watched. Sometimes I would feel a reason to be scared or want to just run. Other times, not so much. We did start to eventually start seeing them, usually in the tree line across the highway or within the trees near the privacy fence. It was like you would just get a glimpse and a car would go by and they would be gone. Since then, we have heard chatters, howls. They were more like they was imitating coyotes, but the sound was off. Things that sound like arguing or fighting. I've had the house knocked on. We've seen in the past what we have seen in the past was 3 different ones. A very large brown one, there was a little smaller, and one about 5 to 6 feet tall, a black one. However, past night, I did see a solid white. I would have just thought it was a dead tree, but when I shined my light on it, the second time it kind of slid down slowly. It looked like it was seeing from about the shoulders. It looked like was seeing from about the shoulders and head, and that looked to be about 3 feet tall. When I told my wife about it, she had told me that that's where, quote, Bob, end quote, what we call the big one, was standing at Friday when we got home late. Anyways, you can share or not. I know my interaction has been rather plain compared to other people have told, and is why I haven't really said anything. Thanks, Brad Neal. Brad, I hope it's okay to share your name, because now I gotta go to the beginning and see if you said not to. Alright, you didn't say not to share your name. Brad, appreciate you, man. Sounds like you've got a group of these beings nearby, and they're looking to possibly get some kind of weird contact going with you. I don't know why. I don't know why they do it, but it's going to be up to you what you do with that. Myself, I'm good. If there's going to be a group of them dropping hints around my property that they want to hang out and play, or me to start giving them things, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. It's a bit of a pattern when we hear from many people who have started leaving items and then they regretted it. Note taken. I'm a sponge. I'm a sponge with eyeballs and ears. Note taken. For myself, do not encourage leaving things at this point. Not with this, with substantial knowledge about them missing. Not good, possibly. Anyways, I'm looking up at the ceiling and I gotta get my ass moving. And I hope today's emails video helps somebody out there, answer some questions. And for those people out there who are very challenged in the patience part, I feel bad for you. And I have guided many people. I have met many people over the years who I respect, friends of mine who have no patience at all. And to watch that physical, this at times is a physical example of the discomfort they have because they are so impatient. I feel bad for them. It's not a fun quality to have, impatience. It looks to be very, very unsettling. But anyway, and I wish I could help people. I've always tried to figure out how I could teach people patience in the past while guiding, and it's not that easy. It's almost, you feel like you're another version of Tony Robbins at times, trying to give your motivational speeches throughout a big game hunt where people have spent thousands of dollars to be there, and they're paranoid and terrified they're not going to attain the goal they're after. And it just eats them all day, every day, and then they verbalize on it. It starts to drive you crazy because they're not listening to you. They're not picking up your confidence. They don't understand the position I'm in as a guide, the knowledge I have, and the confidence. And I'm babbling, but it's just an example of how I can watch physically the effects of zero patience and what it has on people. And I know there's a handful of you here. Feel bad for you. But anyway, hang tough. Stick it out. Don't give up. Try to learn patience. There's a lot coming your way for all of you. That I know. There is a lot coming your way. Okay? So there. Off I go. Off I go. Project smashing. Here we go.